Hey yo, what's up? Astrosequel Codes here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be explaining a quick game called Knight's Tour that I have just completed. And so this game is based off of a grid and basically just a chessboard, but we are able to customize it. And what you have is a knight moving around the board in any position. And the objective of this game is to move the knight in every single spot in the board, obviously without going in reoccurring positions. So we're going to start off by looking at the three classes we have here on the left. We have Knight's Tour, Location, and Grid. And in this grid class, it's just like a standard 2D array. You have your gets and your setters, and we have a quick two-string. Same thing with the location, just return the location. The quick two-string returns the location in format with parentheses. And let's get started on this Knight's Tour class. So we have board size, which is obviously just the board size, a new grid, and what step we're currently on, the starting X and the starting Y positions, and these are the X moves that the knight is able to move in a standard chess game. So if you're in a knight in the middle of the board, you can move one in the X position, two in the Y position, two in the X position, one in the Y position, two in the X position, negative one in the Y position, and so on all the way until negative one in the X position and two in the Y position. And these ints right under it are tracking our last X and Y positions, and these three final strings are Java Unicode for different colors in the console, and this run game variable is going to make sure that our game is running, and this array list is holding the possible locations for the turn that we're on that the knight is able to move in, and these instance variables are crucial in this game. So let's start off. We have a new scanner and we import the scanner right there. Also, we import java util.star, which gives us the ability to utilize array lists. And it says, how many rows in columns would you like? So it sets the board size to -1, runs that while loop, and runs this try catch statement. So let's say we are going to run I would like Asher Siegel rows and cols. That's going to catch in an exception, and then since this board size is still less than 3, it is going to it's going to enter a valid integer over 2. So let's say we want to do -1, still over 2, slash over 2. So let's say we want to do 8 rows standard chessboard. X position. So starting X is less than 0, it is, and starting X plus 1 is greater than board size, and that is true. So actually, this one is not true. I apologize. I apologize for that. That is not true. We have an or statement right here. So let's say we're going to do 10. That's not going to work because it catches it down here and makes sure that the x is less than 0, that if the x is less than 0 or the x is greater than the board size, then it says enter a valid integer. So let's say we're going to do Deerfield, Illinois. Nope. Let's say we want to do -0. Nope. -5. Nope. Let's just do 7. Beautiful. So this runs correctly, and then nothing else has to run. So now the last X position is our new starting X. Or our new last X is the starting X. So now it asks for our Y position, and it is the exact same notation as the X position. So let's say we want to do Colorado. Nope. Let's say -9. Let's say 100. Nope. 6. Beautiful. So then it goes right to it creates the new grid with the board size. It sets the grid spot to 1. And what that does is this O right here is now 1 and all the other X's are zeros. And it prints the board. And now let's go to the print board method. And it has a location boolean for true, and the run game is also true. So what this does is it cycles through all of the x and y positions, this first for loop like I showed up there, and this is going to take this last x and last y and add the different x positions and y positions and make sure that it's within the grid bounds. And if it is, and there is also not a the value is less than 1, so it's 0 and not 1, then it's going to add that position to the possible locations array list. It's going to print the current board. And then this for loop, this 2.1 is around a magnitude that you can have, that it would make around all of the different boards have an adequate line at the top. So let's say we want to do like a larger board. This 2.1 is around the normal size. So let's say we want to have like 20 and we want to start in 5, 5. So you see that 2.1 controls how many of these dashes are printed, and then it's going to print a new line, but then this little line right here is not going to be printed on a new line. And then so this cycles through all of the grids, the spots, the grid rows, and the grid columns, and it sees if all of these different x's and zeros and ones are, it checks if it's less than 1, and if it is and it's in the possible locations array list, then it prints it as yellow and not black. And this is an indication that your piece is able to move to that spot. So then we break out of that, and if not that, then it's just going to print a normal x. And it also sends the location boolean to false. So if that is false, then that won't print because this one just printed it, and then it resets it to true. So then if the grid.getGridSpot is equal to 1, which this O is now equal to a 1, it prints it in green, and it also prints in O. And if it is not equal to the last x and the last y, then it just prints a standard O. So we're gonna have to rerun this. But if it's not the last x, like let's say it was the x 2 times ago, then it is not going to print that single one. So right here we're at 5, 5, and then let's run 4, 7. We're gonna enter location 8. So now that is no longer green. And then we are going to run the same thing down here with the same 2.1 magnitude, which will print those dashes. And then if it runs the game, it's system.out.println, so it creates a new line. It finds the locations and then clears the array list. So let's do find locations. And it shows the possible moves. So loops through the possible locations array list. Then it's going to print all of the locations that are inside of there. And if run game is false, it says you completed step count plus iterations. So let's lose real quick. We're playing pretty well. It looped through 40 different iterations. So we beat the game on, actually we did not beat the game, but we ran through it 40 different times. And now accidentally just reload this page, but we are going to look through the solve board. Here we go. And now what this does is it just recalls this method recursively with the last x and last y. So it's going to just ask for all of these just normal, is going to ask for the possible locations and is going to ask which location we would like to choose. And it's just making sure that all of this is working straight. So we want 15 rows and we'd like to start in 7, 5. So right here we go 7 down, 5 over. and these are a list of the possible moves. And since we're not on an edge or none of these x's are taken up by o's, it lists all possible 8 locations that are right here at the top: 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1, 2 negative 1, and so on and so forth. We want to choose location 6, move to location 6, and let's try and get on the edge of the board, and we are going to see what happens. Let's go 5. So as you can see, we are only able to go into new locations, since this location right here, if we go 2 down on the y and 1 right on the x, it's not able to print because it is taken up by O, so it doesn't show up as a yellow X. However, these two are. And like I said again, this was a game that I created, and it is fairly simple. There's not much to it. And if you would like to further look into this, always feel free to shoot me an email, and I could always work with you on how to make this. I would always give you a tutoring session or further explanation on this game. And this game will also be linked in my GitHub. So if you'd like to take a look at that source code and not just look right here, then that would be much appreciated. And please do not forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.